47,000 homes that were abandoned here in the city of Detroit at one point. 47,000. Wow. Right now we're having an affordable housing crisis, right? Just imagine if we were able to get a hold of those properties before they became totally gone, right? In this scenario, 8,000 properties were demoed between 2020 and now. Very aggressive demolition strategy. I understand why the current administration implemented such an aggressive strategy, because the community, the neighbors, wanted these homes gone. But imagine 10, 15 years ago, we came up with a strategy and preserved the homes that actually had solid bones and not too much damage at that time, to in turn be able to hopefully attract homeowners to avoid the need to demolish as many properties as we had to. We're in a affordable housing crisis, and we're in a scenario where the average purchase price, the median purchase price for a home in America is $415,000, right? And we had to in turn get rid of thousands of single family structures. It's just kind of sad to just think about that. So the city of Detroit reached a pretty major milestone as of recent. 8,000 properties have been demoed since 2020. And by the year's end, they're thinking that we're going to have less than 1,000 properties left that are abandoned, which is pretty impressive given that at one point we had 47,000 abandoned homes here in the city of Detroit. So I wanted to kind of talk through this milestone and why some people are still asking the question of if some of those homes could have been saved.
Years ago, cleaning up blight in the city of Detroit seemed like an impossible task. Flash forward to today, and the city is marking a major milestone, 8,000 demolitions, and the work is far from over. 3, 2, 1, go! The proposal in plan approved in 2020 has reached the goal of demolishing 8,000 blighted homes across the city. Residents are relieved to no longer be tasked with making abandoned homes less of an eyesore.
There was houses there that they could not fix. I cut the grass. I shoveled the snow to make it look like someone cared, because I did.
Let's be honest here. Living next to an abandoned home here in the city of Detroit, that is just not something you want to see every day. Coming out of your driveway, out of your front door, sitting on your porch, your children are playing in your yard, company comes over and they look over and they see this abandoned property that windows are busted out, or there was a fire some time ago, and so this site just looks like ruin porn, right? And you as a homeowner are concerned because there could be illegal activity happening in that house. Your child could get caught in that house and could hurt themselves. You just never know, right? Somebody homeless could be staying in there. And so you are going to try your best at making sure that the home is somewhat managed and maintained until something happens with this site. And in a lot of scenarios, you're hoping that that property gets demoed, depending on how bad it is. In some scenarios, you're looking at it and you're hoping that you can buy it and maybe you can redevelop it or rehab it and move a family member into it or rent it out yourself. And you can do so in some scenarios via the Detroit Land Bank. I've purchased a few properties via the Detroit Land Bank, and the process is pretty simple, right? But that's only if the property is actually listed on that site and you can get it for an affordable price point. At one point, I was buying homes here in the city of Detroit for $1,500, $2,000. I bought a 6-unit complex for $2,300 over on the east side. I didn't have an opportunity to finish that site, but it just goes to show the price points you were once able to purchase properties, where now those same houses that I was buying for $2,000, $3,000 may go for $15,000, $17,000 on the Land Bank's website. But once again, one of the things that you do not want to have in your neighborhood, on your block, next door to you is a vacant home.
When I came in, the land bank owned 47,000 abandoned houses. By the end of this year, it's going to be about 1,000, and none of them are going to need to be demolished.
47,000 homes that were abandoned here in the city of Detroit at one point. 47,000. Wow. Right now we're having an affordable housing crisis, right? Just imagine if we were able to get a hold of those properties before they became totally gone, right? Where you got falling roofs and you got fires, things of that nature. But imagine if we were able to get to those properties before they became in such disarray that we in turn had to create a plan to demo as many properties as we have had to, right? In this scenario, 8,000 properties were demoed between 2020 and now. Very aggressive demolition strategy. I understand why the current administration implemented such an aggressive strategy, because the community, the neighbors wanted these homes gone. But imagine 10, 15 years ago, we came up with a strategy and preserved the homes that actually had solid bones and not too much damage at that time, to in turn be able to hopefully attract homeowners to avoid the need to demolish as many properties as we had to. We're in a affordable housing crisis, and we're in a scenario where the average purchase price, the median purchase price for a home in America is $415,000, right? And we had to in turn get rid of thousands of single family structures. It's just kind of sad to just think about that.
Those are all going to be houses for sale.
With most land bank houses bought by renters in Detroit, the city will continue pushing away speculators.
We go to the tenants when the landlord's being foreclosed on, and Gilbert and his foundation front the money to pay off the taxes, and the tenant becomes the homeowner. We're trying to put the unethical landlords out of the city.
And residents like Cliff Johnson are looking forward to purchasing more houses and restoring them to homes.
I bought my house for $700.
He paid $700 for this brick home that you're seeing on the screen. Of course, he put a roof on, new windows. He probably had to do the whole nine. New furnace, hot water tank, electrical, plumbing, you name it, right? But he paid $700 for the house that you're seeing behind the individuals, the spectators, watching them demo the house across the street, right? You just don't hear these types of stories anywhere else in the country.
About 11, 12 years ago. I took my time, about 4 years, and I put it back together.
And Mayor Duggan says by the end of this year, they will have demolished approximately 8,500 homes.
8,000 properties demoed since 2020. And that video was from 4 months ago. Shout out to the city for listening to the community, listening to the people that live next to these properties, and coming up with a plan to delete and demo these properties, these eyesores, these safety concerns out of these communities. But at what cost, right? At what cost are we demoing these properties? And is it a scenario that we could have been a little more thoughtful on how to salvage and save more of those properties? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate you chiming in, listening to me ramble, and I'll see you in the next video.